Little did I know we were going to miss so many other days. Now the day comes, and she says, now remember, I'm not supposed to shoot on such and such a day. I said, yeah, I do remember, but Marilyn, we haven't shot an arc. I don't want to shoot. Can't shoot. Then I pick it up. She's going to the president's birthday party. And I said, you're not going to go. I said, you're not going to shoot, but you're not going to go. And I'm going to go.
Production reports clearly stated that Marilyn had permission to attend the ball. But behind the scenes, studio head Peter Levathes was imploring her not to go. A week earlier, he had even sent a letter stating, Marilyn, as you know, we are behind schedule with our picture, and we cannot consent to or acquiesce in your absence. But Marilyn's mind was made up, and she headed for New York to perform for the president.
We all knew she was going to go to the president's ball. It was an honor to go to the president's ball. She wasn't the only one that was invited. There were many, and she had permission.
Mr. President, Marilyn Monroe.
Marilyn's legendary tardiness was made a running gag throughout the evening's celebration.
Here she is. But I'll give her an introduction anyway, Mr. President, because in the history of show business, perhaps there has been no one female who meant so much, who has done more.
When Marilyn finally appeared, she was wearing a shimmering silk gown that revealed more than it hid.
Mr. President, the late Marilyn Monroe.
That night, one of her most memorable live performances was caught on camera.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you.
Back in Hollywood, Fox executives were livid.
She just didn't have any sense of responsibility or any respect for them, had no feeling for them, and they just suddenly, I think, moved away from a professional evaluation to a personal snit.
Everybody, happy birthday!
Well, it was very upsetting to Cukor. You know, the rest of us, we've been in this movie business a long time, and all kinds of things happened, and so it was no big red letter day one way or the other to the crew, just one more episode. But Cukor took it quite personally.
The incident marked a significant turning point on the set of Something's Got to Give. On Monday, May 21st, Monroe reported to work and let Cukor know that close-ups were out of the question. No amount of makeup could hide her fatigue.
When you're there, you just feel it as manipulation, like the crew felt. You know, you were trying to do your best work, and here was this person, you know, kind of pissing on it.
Matters were only made worse the following day, when Marilyn had a fresh reason to postpone shooting. Dean Martin reported to work in spite of a cold and fever. For the next 3 days, Monroe refused to work with Martin for fear of catching his cold. Cukor was forced to shoot these close-ups, heavily filtered to conceal the actress's exhaustion.
Okay. Rolling? Yeah. Okay.
496.
Tensions mounted on the set, and Marilyn began to lose the support from the crew she had come to depend on. But everyone was prepared to forgive Monroe's behavior, when word leaked out that she would be filming a nude swim scene on May 23rd, the first ever by a major American actress.
500.
Come on in. The water's so refreshing.
It was like panic. I mean, aura of excitement, people running back and forth.
501.
Everybody was kicked off the set, including me. I'd never been off the set in my life with Cukor, but Marilyn wanted everybody off.
Only the illusion of skinny dipping was planned, but Marilyn took things a step further.
We had a bodysuit for her, where you look nude in the water. And after 2-3 takes, she just tore it off and did it without anything else there.
502. 503. 504.
Marilyn posed provocatively on the edge of the swimming pool and made the world take note that she still had a gorgeous body. Marilyn seemed inspired by the scene and by the presence on set of her favorite still photographers. Once again, she was in front of the kind of camera that had fallen in love with her face and her figure years before.
When it was all over, she said, well, this is knocking Elizabeth Taylor off the cover of all the magazines. And indeed, that picture was on the cover of every magazine you can think of.
But even if the temperature in the pool didn't rise, optimism at Fox did. The scene was extraordinary, and Monroe had now been on the set for a solid week without interruption. On Friday, May 25th, Marilyn left the studio looking happier than she had in weeks. But that weekend, she disappeared. No one heard from her for 2 whole days.
I couldn't understand what happened that weekend. That's what, to me, it's the big personal mystery. You know, because she left feeling great now. It was all over again. Maybe she had a disappointing affair.
Some speculated that Monroe's rumored affair with Attorney General Bobby Kennedy was at fault.
People think it's ridiculous that she thought that she could be First Lady. But when you stop to think of who would have thought she could have married the greatest baseball player ever, and she did, or the greatest author, one of the great American authors, and she did. In Marilyn's mind, she could do all these things.
But whatever Marilyn needed to get back on track with her role in Something's Got to Give, no one on or off the set seemed to have the solution.